Let's have a closer look at flexible floors in F1. Essentially, there are two different topics. One is what we could call natural flexibility of the floor edges. The other new topic is flexibility in the plank area. So let's talk about the floor edges first. The floor is basically a large thin plate with lower pressure underneath and higher pressure above. Since it's fixed in the center to the car's structure, the outside floor edges bend naturally. When this happens, they seal the floor at the sides and the car can have more downforce. Earlier in the season, teams tried to avoid that because too much suction underneath the car contributed to the bouncing issue. But now, after 10 races, teams understand the bouncing issue better and might try to push the limits with bending down floor edges again. As long as they fulfill the required tests, there's nothing wrong with that. The other flexibility topic is new and only came up because of a technical directive that was sent to the teams by the FIA. Technical directives are a tool of the regulators to give teams a heads up for future rule changes or to remind teams of the intention of the rules. In the latest technical directive, the FIA hinted that some teams might have more flexibility in the plank area than what is allowed. Now, what is the plank? The plank is a large wooden board underneath the car. It has to be 10 mm thick, and after a race it still needs to be at least 9 mm thick. It's a standard tool in racing to see if a car was driving too low. To check the thickness, the plank has to have a number of round holes. In F1, the material of the plank is free, but the density is regulated. Now, in previous years, the huge trend was rake angles of cars, which means the whole car is tilted around its y-axis, bringing the front wing closer to the ground and turning the whole flat underbody into one large diffuser, which creates more downforce. So, the closest point to the ground, and the only location where the floor was wearing down, was at the front of the floor. Hence, regulators got used to only check the front part of the floor in two hole locations. But with the 2022 regulations, the physics of the cars changed a bit, and because of the strong suction underneath the cars, we could see regular skid marks at the back of the floor, which we also talked about in my previous floor videos. So, if a team can handle the bouncing issue and can drive their car lower, they will have less drag and more downforce. That, on the other hand, helps with tire wear and is a huge advantage during a race. But if teams drive the car lower, and because of the slightly rear-biased aerobalance, the plank wears down too much at the rear, they would theoretically be disqualified after the race. Allowed by the regulations is a plank flexibility of no more than 2 mm, or like the F1 designers would say, up to 2 mm. In reality, like we said earlier, the regulators only check flexibility at the front of the plank, because this is how they did it before 2022. The flexibility test is also a bit more work, because you have to lift the whole car. The plank thickness, however, can be checked very quickly by just measuring the thickness in the holes with a ruler. To make use of this situation, it looks like some teams added some additional flexibility to the rear plank mounting. So it works like a pillow. When the car is set up lower, it will frequently hit the ground at the back, but because of the soft plank mounting, the plank doesn't wear down so quickly. So, although these cars are set up very low, they have more downforce and less drag, the plank didn't wear out too much at the end of the race, and the car is fine when they check the plank thickness. Mercedes was surprised to hear something like this happens. They have been busy fixing their bouncing problems and admitted that they didn't see this loophole. The stricter flexibility test should start with the French Grand Prix, and let's see if certain teams have a change in performance. I hope you liked this little insight and don't forget to join the B-Sport Club to support the channel. See you at the next video.